And this is completely random. I didn't ask to have the party president.
No, it's just pure chance.
Hello, it's me, Fredo Rockwell here. This video is a bit different. I've been making videos about political parties from around the world for a while now. So I wanted to make a video about my political party, which is here, the Liberal Democrats, which is sort of traditionally the third biggest party in the United Kingdom. We've been the fourth biggest party since 2015 when the Scottish National Party sort of surged to the fore. But anyway, we're sort of the third biggest in England, which is where I live. This video is about a by-election, which is a special election to fill an empty parliamentary seat, in this case in the district of Chesham and Amersham. One thing about this video, I've not really gone into policy much. I've not talked about what it is that Liberal Democrats stand for broadly on this and that. That's because I really wanted this video to be more about the culture of being in a party, you know, what it's like to take part in events and what it's like to be a member. It's very different here than it is in America, and probably very different from wherever you are. So that's where you'll see me next, wandering around the streets of Amersham, and I look forward to seeing you then. I'm speaking to you from sunny Amersham, which is in Buckinghamshire, to the northwest of London, just on the edge of the London Underground network. One of the reasons that Lib Dems are hopeful for this seat is because in the recent local elections, which were held a few weeks ago, we did pretty well, and I believe we gained control of the local council. So that's a good sign that the Lib Dem message is a bit more popular here at the moment. By-elections are not like normal elections where the media plays a really big role. In a normal election, you want to, be appearing on the media a lot, doing interviews, there are debates. In a by-election, there's really not nearly as much media. Local media doesn't really exist in the UK in the same way it does in America, for example. There's no local TV station. If there's a local radio station, it's probably mostly music and not very big. There is a local newspaper, but it's probably read by a pretty small fraction of the population. So really, it's the ground game that makes a difference. It's knocking on doors, it's speaking to people on the street, it's candidate appearances. Those are the things that make the difference. The Conservatives have been in charge of this suburban district for quite a while, or at least represented it in Parliament. But Lib Dems have been in second place. We came in second in the last election. We're hoping that we can have a good result this time. I'm going to help today. I've helped with other Lib Dem campaigns before, but always sort of with a strategic help and writing copy. I've never been on the ground sort of passing out leaflets and things, but I'll get to learn about that today. And let's go check out the office. Okay, let's see what's on the high street. We've got a Pizza Hut. Oh, and we've got a Liberal Democrats satellite headquarters. What do you know? Every high street should have one.
I'm Candy Piercy. I'm a member of the team here in Amersham, and I'm also a member of the party's federal board.
Okay, so what am I going to be doing here today?
What you're going to be doing is we've got lots of leaflets here which got to be delivered.
Okay.
And so we give our activists a map of where they're going to be delivering.
Okay.
And the leaflets, and one goes through each door. That's one task that we're doing. And the second is that we're putting out a survey on how people feel about local issues. And it's something that Sarah Green, who's our candidate, is particularly keen on, to make sure that we really listen to people rather than telling them what they think.
How important are these things going on from here compared to a general election? Is it?
It's incredibly important in both a general election and a by-election. The difference is in a by-election that we have a wonderful, wonderful membership who will travel for miles and sometimes for many, many hours to come and help in a by-election.
I have one more question for you. I feel like the Lib Dems in particular is a really friendly party.
Yeah.
I mean, how would you describe it as culturally as an organization?
It's like a family.
Yeah.
And we're all, we have shared memories going back over many campaigns. We have friendships and relationships within right across the party, over 100,000 members.
Yeah.
And it's that activist core that really are the engine room of the party that keep driving us forward. And this is Anna, who's one of our local members, who's working in front of house with us today.
All right. Hello. Hi. So, have you been a member of the Lib Dems for long? Or?
Yeah, probably became interested post-Brexit and,
Right.
and joined officially.
Which is when a lot of people,
yeah, exactly. Can't keep standing on the sidelines and need to get involved.
So when you found out there was going to be a by-election here, did you start getting excited or?
Oh yeah, it suddenly makes you very proud.
Yeah, you're the center of attention.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, I'm going to grab a sticker.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. At this point, Candy suggested that I be ready to go out on my first campaigning excursion in about 20 minutes. To keep the numbers in the office low, I ducked outside to take in some of the local sights. This looks interesting. When I returned to the office, I was surprised to discover that it now contained a baroness. No joke.
Ros is a former president of the party and a member of the House of Lords.
Oh,
I'm just not quite in.
baroness.
Yeah, not quite baroness.
The roads are heavy and they're a bit.
I
They
know.
get muddy.
They do.
And while meeting a member of the House of Lords hadn't been something I'd been expecting at this point, the day took an even more unexpected turn moments later.
Alright, so I mean, if we're in if it looks.
That's Mark Pack, the current president of the Liberal Democrats. More on what that means in a moment. But at first, I assumed he was just at the Amersham office to see how the campaign was going. I was wrong. He was here for the same reason I was, to help distribute leaflets. And then it was decided that he should go leafleting with me. Crikey.
Now, do you want to drive Mark and you can both go and do a round?
I'm doing a YouTube video about what it's like to work in a
Right, yeah.
Lib Dem by-election, and
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Lovely. Okay, and that'll get you back in time to see lots more people coming in. And
So-
there'll be more activity later on.
this wasn't planned for me to take, like, the party president. Or,
Lucky timing. It was just lucky dip. So I
Yeah,
ran
yeah.
for a tube train earlier, and on the Met line, they either go to Chesham or Amersham. I thought,
Right.
the train's going in the right direction, I'll just run for it.
right.
And so 50-50 chance
Brilliant.
I ended up here or in the other office.
And so, totally unplanned, I ended up driving one of the most senior people in my really important national political party to a nearby estate to deliver leaflets. This was totally not at all what I'd been expecting. It was like showing up to volunteer for a local Democrat running for Congress and find yourself paired up with the chairman of the Democratic National Committee for the morning, delivering leaflets. So, where are we?
Good question. We are in Chalfont Heights Estate, and we've got a nice big bundle of leaflets to go deliver for Sarah this morning, and a handy little delivery map which shows us little pins on the map all the different houses that we need to do, which is quite handy because it looks like it's a bit complicated working out where all the properties. Looking at the size of the drives and the steps up to the houses, we're going to be burning off our breakfast this morning, no doubt about it.
And then, could you introduce yourself to...
Yeah, sure. So I'm Mark Pack. I'm president of the Liberal Democrats, which is a sort of voluntary post. A bit like if people are used to say US politics, the equivalent of chair of the Democrat National Committee.
Right.
So elected by all party members for a sort of 3-year term of office, which I must be nearly halfway through now. So I
Right.
started January, beginning of last year. So yeah, nearly halfway through.
And this is completely random. I didn't ask to have
No,
the
it's
party
just pure
president.
chance. In fact, it was slightly random that I ended up in the office where I met you this morning.
Yeah.
I'm guessing with this sort of area, there'll probably be quite a lot of people with dogs.
Yeah.
So always worth keeping just an ear out.
So what's the
there's a
danger
dog
with the dog?
Well, sometimes with the brushes on the letterboxes, it can be a little bit hard to get the leaflet all the way through. So you have to sort of push a little bit with your hand. And then you just need to be careful not to stick your fingers through the letterbox. And then for a dog on the other side, to take a little nip of your fingers.
Have you ever been bitten by a dog?
No, so far, fingers crossed.
Right.
My fingers are all dog scar free. Hopefully, the next video you shoot won't be us in A&E with us both needing treatment for
That
dog
would be
bites.
like the great ending, wouldn't
Yeah,
it? Like,
exactly.
okay. Excellent. Okay.
Brilliant. Away you go.
Thank you.
So,
So, about to deliver my first leaflet. Not a mail flap traditionally, but there we go. First one done. 200 more to go.
The army now is marching on the battle to begin. The standard now is raised on high to face the battle din. We'll never cease from fighting till the victory we win. And the land is free for the people. The land, first God made the land. The leaflets in our hand. God gave the land for the people.
That, by the way, is a song called The Land, which has been the unofficial anthem of our party for about 100 years. And that version is sung by the Liberal Democrat Glee Club. And yes, we have a Glee Club. In America, the RNC or DNC chairman would not be out leafleting for a by-election, or the equivalent. So what's different about the Lib Dems?
I guess the difference is that in the US, because there's so much more emphasis on fundraising and spending money, in a sense, there's less you can actually do in the last few days.
Right.
I don't know, maybe Americans should try a bit harder in the few days before polling day. I don't know. You think the number of elections the Democrats have just lost, that they would maybe feel that they want to do a bit more. Right. Before I say anything too horrible about the wonderful American
No, you're okay because I'm American. I won't.
Let's have a look.
You're inoculated. Right. What's the difference between a party president and a party leader?
So the party leader is much more important. The party leader is one of our MPs. They lead the party in Parliament, and when we win a Liberal Democrat majority in the House of Commons at the next election, of course, they will be the next Prime Minister.
Right.
Whilst the party president is much more of a backroom role. So definitely someone who can mess things up if they do their job badly. But definitely, I know my place, as it were.
So you're not in line to become Prime Minister?
No.
Any ambitions to be a Prime
No,
Minister?
I've never. But it's sort of helping others get elected rather than wanting to get elected myself has always been the thing that's attracted me. So and parties need both. So
yeah, excellent. Okay, cool. Thank you. So just a moment to reflect on the fact that just by complete coincidence, I'm working with the party president. Hello, really expensive house. Where do you put your post box? Anyway, so it's been a bit of a treat to get to know him a bit. He's someone I followed on Twitter. He does more than just be president of the party. He's been this sort of unofficial news source of the party for as long as I've been involved. His website, his Twitter feed, he has a newsletter. I don't know that he does anything else or has time to do anything else other than Lib Dem politics. So he is Mr. Lib Dem as far as I'm concerned. Regulars to my channel will be aware that this is my first attempt to make a video which I filmed myself rather than piecing together news clips and stock footage. And at this point I made a rookie mistake and filmed this clip of Mark with no sound. So let me tell you roughly what he's saying. So I invited Mark to plug the upcoming new version of his book. He's a well-respected author of 101 Ways to Win an Election, which he wrote with Edward Maxfield. It's a book full of tips and strategy and is meant for anyone in any country. You don't have to be a Liberal Democrat or working in a UK election. An extensively updated version should be released on the 8th of July 2021. And if you're at all interested in how to run an election and win, I strongly suggest that you pick up a copy from your nearest quality bookshop. So after a couple hours of hard work, Mark and I headed back to the center of Amersham. I dropped him off so that he could head off to an important Lib Dem meeting, and I went back to the office, but on the way, I saw this. So despite this being a conservative district in theory, this is the only sign of the conservatives I've seen. I bet that's our office. It's very close to the Lib Dem office. After a quick break for lunch, I was paired up with Paul to go out and do surveys, something I definitely had never done before. Okay, so I'm with Paul. We've come to another part of the district. What are we doing, Paul?
We're doing a resident survey where we are knocking on doors, talking to the local residents and asking them to help us out by completing a survey on local issues and local concerns they may have.
And how many times have you done this?
Far too many times. I've done it over the last 30 odd years. 30
years? Okay, yeah. This is my first time.
Okay,
so
well, that's fine. It's a good way of saying hello to people. We of course hope that they'll give us their views and look at us favourably when the time comes to put their cross on the ballot paper.
That will be good. Okay. So we're in a village called Chalfont St. Peter, and this resident survey is made expressly for the residents of Chalfont St. Peter. which is pretty cool. Okay, I'm about to do my first survey door knocking, which I won't film. I'm very nervous. We'll see how it goes. So it took 3 attempts before I found a house that had somebody in it. And they took the survey and no drama. And on to the next one. Paul and I finished delivering surveys. We only had one argument and they were actually very nice.
Maybe. We found a few conservatives,
Yeah.
including some members.
Yeah, and
But generally, locals are very friendly.
locals friendly, no scars, everything went well. So yeah,
Just proving that this is not a bad thing to do.
yeah, excellent. So what did you think? Did you enjoy that video? I hope you did. I really enjoyed myself that day, getting to spend time with Mark and Paul and Candy. It was great. Another goal I had for this video is to encourage people to take part in elections wherever they are, especially if they're in the UK and they're a Liberal Democrat. If you'd like to help out with the Chesham and Amersham by-election, I know they'd be really glad to have you. I can't promise that the party president will be riding around with you. It might happen though, you never know. So do take part. I know they'd love to have you. There's also a decent chance if you're a Lib Dem and you're watching this, that the Chesham and Amersham by-election happened long ago. There'll be another by-election soon or a general election, so please take part. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed myself and I would encourage you to do what I did. And I'd like to make more videos like this. If you'd like to see more like this, not just about the Liberal Democrats, but with other parties from around Europe and around the world, let me know in the comments. I will try to make more. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribe. Getting close to 500 subs. I'd love for you to be one of them. And I'll see you guys in the next video.